Rob Tebbutt for Boxing News, joined by the British middleweight champion Nathan Heaney. We're here at the announcement of Magnificent 7 and of course your rematch with Brad Pauls. How you doing, champ?
Yeah, good. Have you ever interviewed before?
I don't know, like we speak a lot but we don't, yeah.
I don't think you've ever interviewed me in person, so this is my first ever time with you, Rob. So yeah, no, so even better now, mate.
It's a big moment for me. I'm getting to speak to the British middleweight champion.
Something like that, mate, yeah.
How are you getting on?
Yeah, good, mate, yeah. Obviously, I've been knowing about this fight now probably like the last 2 weeks, so the training's ramped up. I've been training ever since the fight anyway, but the training ramped up about 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it's just switching on now and just making sure everything's right on the night.
You've obviously been in the gym and ticking over, but as we all know, fighters need that date, need who they're fighting and what have you. Heard all sorts of names for you, Nathan. We heard Carlos Adames, I heard Chris Eubank Jr., I heard various other names. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, all sort of real. Like the Adames was the one that was set up really for the ground, for what would have been the interim, but would now have been for the full WBC. It's a shame. It's a shame. But unfortunately that draw sort of messed the rankings up, and obviously messed up my opportunity to fight for that world title. So that was gutting, to be honest. But then you're still looking to put that ground fight on. But then you're looking at names that, if it's not a world title, well then you need a name. So then, like say, Chris Eubank Jr. But I think he wants an astronomical amount of money. Then some other names, but they wouldn't have been ready in time for that date. So it is what it is. But we just got now. I've just now got to keep progressing, so that happens in 2025.
Obviously, you, by your own admission, winning a British title was such a huge thing for you. Now we've just spoken about world titles and things like that. How important is it? And obviously, from the kind of grounding that you've had, I'm sure you're going to tell me that there's no way that you'll look past Brad Pauls in the rematch, and it's important that you don't do that.
No, you can't. And that, like, you probably have thought in the first fight, in terms of like the win, you're at the ground essentially, so it makes it very hard, doesn't it? Like in terms of your mentality, but I always switch on for my opponents regardless of who they are. So it's obviously some fighters make you probably switch on a little bit more. But then I didn't ever have that with Brad, where I thought he was lesser than anyone else. So I focused on him just the same as I would anyway.
I think it was behind you at some point. Davies did his best to incite a bit of beef up there between yourself and Brad, but it seems like knowing you kind of individually and obviously together, you seem quite similar people, Nathan. There doesn't seem to be an awful, despite Dev's best attempts, and they were pretty good, doesn't seem to be that between you.
I've never been like that, to be fair, mate. My ego's pretty in check, so like when people call me out online or say stuff on there, it don't bother me. So I'd rather just be myself and just relax a little bit and not get drawn into something. Now, is that great for press conferences? Probably not. Probably a bit boring, to be honest. But at least I know I'm just being myself.
I think the worst thing is when it's like a bit contrived and you can tell like people who are not real, and it's a bit phony, isn't it?
That's one of my biggest gripes, really, in terms of when you see post-fights, they go, "Oh, listen, it was all business." I don't see that. Listen, if someone really offended me and said stuff in the build-up to a fight, as far as I'm concerned, they're absolute scum. Whether business or not, they are scum. So, like, after post-fights, I wouldn't have anything to do with them. Like, that's just weird. I've just got a weird mentality. So I like being respectful, because then we can speak. But listen, I can give it myself, but it's got to be real. Like I say, don't do it for the business and the press conference. Like, yeah.
Obviously, the fight itself, I mean, both yourself and Brad both think you won the fight, which is obviously not uncommon for two fighters. But looking back at your performance, not the result, were you happy with your performance? And if not, what do you think you need to do better?
Yeah, I thought my performance was quite good, actually. Like really, in the first 7 rounds, I thought I boxed really well. Obviously, it wasn't good getting caught. That's the disappointing part of the fight. Obviously, round 8, round 11. But like round 8, I got hurt. He hurt me bad. I recovered. Steve sat me down. Round 9, I boxed lovely and won that round. So I showed good parts of me boxing and stuff. So it's who do you think won?
I had a draw, Nathan.
Did you? Fair.
I did have it a draw, yeah.
What did the app have? The
Boxing News app, as you very well know, had you winning the fight.
Yeah. So at least they know.
Yeah, even if I don't. Talk to me about some of the other fights on the card. Liam Davies and Shabaz Masoud. I think there was probably a little bit more spice between those guys than there was for you, but another really, really good fight to be on the same card as yourself.
Yeah, two very good boxers. Obviously, Liam Davies has done phenomenally well, how much he's improved, and the people that he's beaten along the way. And obviously, Shabaz, young lad, has done very well. obviously had a tough test when he headlined the Matchroom card. Was that his last fight or the fight before? I'm not too sure. Was it his last fight? Yeah. So he had a tough fight there, but he would have learned from that. Obviously, he's got Ben Davies in his corner, who's very good. So they'll have a plan to obviously nullify what Liam can do, but it's going to be a great fight. It will be a great fight.
Okay, and final one, I will leave with you. Of course, your bout with Brad Pauls. How does it end this time? We don't need any more draws, Nathan. We need a conclusive winner.
Yeah, it's like Frank said, the best man will win. Not last time, but it's just do what I need to, win the fight, and keep moving on.